Did you know that over 60% of India's population lives in rural areas? Yet, only 34% of the country's GDP comes from these regions. That's why the Ministry of Rural Development is working tirelessly to transform rural India and ensure that every person has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and prosperity. And the results speak for themselves. Since 2014, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has helped build over 1.8 crore houses in rural areas, providing safe and comfortable homes for families. The Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana has connected over 97% of rural habitations with all-weather roads, making transportation easier and more accessible. And the National Rural Livelihood Mission has empowered over 6 crore women through self-help groups, enabling them to become entrepreneurs and leaders in their communities. These programs have had a tremendous impact on the lives of millions of people in rural India, providing them with the resources and support they need to succeed. And the ministry's efforts in education have been equally impressive. Through initiatives like the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, the ministry has helped reduce the number of out-of-school children in rural areas by over 90% since 2009, ensuring that every child has access to quality education. The ministry is also focused on building digital literacy in rural areas, with programs like the Digital India campaign and the Common Service Centers scheme helping to bridge the digital divide and provide access to technology and information. And with the ministry's ongoing efforts to improve infrastructure, including the construction of over 4.5 lakh kilometers of rural roads and the provision of clean drinking water to over 5 crore people, the future of rural India is looking brighter than ever. At the Ministry of Rural Development, a team of dedicated professionals is working tirelessly to improve the lives of millions of people in rural areas. Through innovative programs and initiatives, the ministry is empowering rural communities and creating opportunities for growth and prosperity. From digital literacy programs to skill development initiatives, the ministry is helping rural youth acquire the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in the modern world. The ministry is also working to improve infrastructure, with projects like the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, which aims to connect all rural habitations with all-weather roads. And through programs like the National Rural Livelihood Mission, the ministry is empowering rural women to become entrepreneurs and leaders in their communities. Education is also a top priority, with initiatives like the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan working to ensure that every child in rural India has access to quality education. And with programs like the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, the ministry is helping families in rural areas build safe and comfortable homes. The Ministry of Rural Development's vision is to create a vibrant and prosperous rural India, where every person has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and fulfillment. Join us on this journey of transformation. Rural India is the heart of our nation, and yet it faces a multitude of challenges. Did you know that more than 60% of India's rural households do not have access to electricity? And over 40% of rural children suffer from malnutrition. The Ministry of Rural Development is working to change this. Through initiatives like the Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gram Jyoti Yojana, the ministry is providing access to electricity to millions of rural households, bringing light and energy to their homes and transforming their lives. And the ministry's focus on improving agriculture in rural areas, with initiatives like the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and the Soil Health Card Scheme, is helping farmers increase their yields and incomes, improving their standard of living. The ministry is also working to improve healthcare in rural areas, with initiatives like the Ayushman Bharat scheme and the National Rural Health Mission providing access to quality healthcare services to millions of people. And the ministry's efforts in education have been equally impressive. Through initiatives like the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, the ministry is improving the quality of education in rural areas, providing children with the skills they need to succeed in life. The ministry is also focused on improving infrastructure in rural areas, with initiatives like the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana and the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund providing access to better roads, water supply, and sanitation facilities. Rural India is the foundation of our nation, and yet it has long been left behind. Did you know that over 70% of India's poor live in rural areas? And nearly 90% of rural households lack access to piped drinking water. The Ministry of Rural Development is working to change this. Through initiatives like the Swachh Bharat Mission and the Jal Jeevan Mission, the ministry is providing access to sanitation and clean drinking water to millions of rural households, improving their health and quality of life. And the ministry's focus on rural livelihoods, with initiatives like the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana and the National Rural Livelihood Mission, is helping rural households diversify their income sources and become self-sufficient. The ministry is also working to bridge the digital divide in rural areas, with initiatives like the BharatNet project and the Common Service Centers providing access to digital services and empowering rural communities. And the ministry's efforts in promoting rural entrepreneurship and employment, with initiatives like the Stand Up India scheme and the National Rural Economic Transformation Project, are creating new opportunities and unlocking the potential of rural India.
Rural India is a diverse and vibrant tapestry of cultures and communities, but it also faces many challenges. Did you know that nearly 40% of rural households lack access to basic banking services? And over 80% of rural women are engaged in low-paying, informal jobs. The Ministry of Rural Development is working to change this. Through initiatives like the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and the Skill India Mission, the ministry is providing employment opportunities and skill development training to rural youth and women, helping them break the cycle of poverty. And the ministry's focus on community-driven development, with initiatives like the Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana and the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Rurban Mission, is empowering rural communities to take charge of their own development and create a better future for themselves. The ministry is also promoting rural entrepreneurship and innovation, with initiatives like the Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program and the Mudra Yojana providing financial and technical support to rural entrepreneurs and micro-enterprises. And the ministry's efforts in healthcare, with initiatives like the Janani Suraksha Yojana and the Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana, are improving maternal and child health and providing affordable healthcare services to rural communities. Rural development is critical for the growth and development of our nation, and the Ministry of Rural Development is doing important work to improve the lives of millions of rural households across India. However, there is always more that can be done to support rural communities and promote their well-being. One of the biggest challenges facing rural communities is the lack of infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, and electricity. The government should prioritize investments in these areas to improve connectivity and accessibility in rural areas. Another important area for investment in education. Many rural schools lack adequate facilities and qualified teachers, which can lead to lower enrollment and high dropout rates. The government should invest in improving school infrastructure and providing training and support to teachers in rural areas. Access to healthcare is also a major concern in rural areas. Many rural health clinics lack adequate resources and medical professionals, which can lead to poor health outcomes for rural communities. The government should invest in improving healthcare infrastructure and increasing access to medical professionals in rural areas. Finally, it's important to focus on promoting gender equality and empowering rural women. Women in rural areas often face discrimination and limited opportunities for education and employment. The government should prioritize programs that provide support and resources for women entrepreneurs, increase access to education and healthcare services, and promote gender-sensitive policies in all aspects of rural development. Rural development is a complex and multifaceted issue that requires a comprehensive approach. While the government is doing important work to improve the lives of rural communities, there are also opportunities for individuals and organizations to get involved and make a difference. One way to support rural development is to get involved with local self-help groups and community-based organizations. These groups can provide important resources and support to rural communities, and by volunteering or donating to these organizations, individuals can help improve the lives of rural households. Another way to support rural development is to invest in rural entrepreneurship and innovation. By providing financial and technical support to rural entrepreneurs and micro-enterprises, individuals and organizations can help create jobs and boost economic growth in rural areas. Supporting healthcare initiatives in rural areas is also crucial. By volunteering at local health camps or donating to organizations that provide medical services to rural communities, individuals can help improve health outcomes and promote well-being in rural areas. Investing in education is one of the most important ways to support rural development. By supporting initiatives that improve school infrastructure and increase access to quality education in rural areas, individuals and organizations can help break the cycle of poverty and promote social mobility for rural households. While rural development is important for the well-being of rural communities, it also has far-reaching implications for the overall growth and development of our nation. Investing in rural development can lead to increased agricultural productivity, improved infrastructure, and stronger economic growth. One of the biggest benefits of rural development is increased agricultural productivity. By investing in modern technology, irrigation systems, and better seeds, rural farmers can increase their yields and contribute to India's food security. Investing in rural infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, and electrification, can also have a significant impact on the overall growth of our nation. By improving connectivity and accessibility in rural areas, we can open up new markets and opportunities for economic growth. Rural development can also promote rural entrepreneurship and innovation. By investing in vocational training and providing financial support to rural entrepreneurs and micro-enterprises, we can create jobs and stimulate economic growth in rural areas. Finally, empowering rural women is crucial for promoting overall development and gender equality. By investing in programs that provide support and resources to women entrepreneurs, increase access to education and healthcare services, and promote gender-sensitive policies, we can help break down barriers and promote women's empowerment in rural areas. Investing in rural development is not just about improving the lives of rural communities, it's about building a stronger, more inclusive India for all. Let us all work together with the Ministry of Rural Development to create a brighter future for rural households across India. Rural development is a shared responsibility, and by working together, we can make a meaningful difference in the lives of millions of rural households across India. Visit the Ministry of Rural Development website to learn more about how you can get involved and support rural development initiatives in India. Hello everyone, my name is Kishan Rabdiya and you are watching the Inside India Politics channel. To Malay thi next episode pay thanks for watching, subscribing, liking. Love you dil se, bye, have a great life. Share this video with all social media friends, family and every Indian people. Bye, love you all.